So here's a fun short story that I'm going to tell you really long. This spring I started a new hive from a nuke, which is one of my favorite ways to start a hive. But anyway, I don't know. We had a rough spring, and that's hard on queens sometimes, especially new queens. And anyway, I couldn't figure out if my bees were trying to make a new queen because they didn't have one, or if they were swarming. Usually when there's swarms going on, it's, you've got all kinds of stages of bees in your brood boxes, like eggs to wet brood and capped brood, and there was nothing. So I was like, oh man, maybe they're trying to make a queen, maybe not. I was so confused, and I did a really unconventional thing, and I'm hoping that it works out. I split the colony because there was 10 queen cells ready to explode. 10 queens were going to come out of there. So I split them up. I thought I'd hedge my bets and see if I could get something to survive. So I kept 5 frames in my original hive, and then I moved 5 new frames with some queen cells on them into a nuke box just to see what would happen. And the queen cells opened up, I could tell that the queens emerged, but I couldn't see that anybody came back. Well, the first hive, which I'll show you here in a minute, is doing great. Totally thriving. So they got their stuff figured out. The nuke, the mini hive that I started, the mini colony that I started, something happened. Their queen cells were open. The queen came out, but she wasn't there. I mean, it was bad for a long time. My worker bees were laying eggs. Hopefully I'll never have footage to be able to show you, but someday I'm sure I will. Anyway, it's the bad thing when worker bees start laying eggs because they can only lay drone eggs. So the drones are worth nothing as far as like the survival of a hive. They are solely for breeding. They don't make anything. Lazy boys. No, so I thought that, okay, I'll just let this little colony die out, and whatever comb they build and honey that they leave behind, I'll just put back into some of my other hives. And so I was expecting to see an empty, dead little box this fall, and actually when I checked on it, the first frame that I pulled out, there was still bees in there for one, and the first frame I pulled out, I saw the queen. So now I have this mini colony, and it's a little worrisome because we're gonna head into winter, so I thought for sure, oh, well, they'll die out then. But I talked to some friends, and they said that it's still possible. I could potentially nurse this colony through the winter and then start them in a new hive box in the spring, and that would just be awesome. So come along this adventure with me. I'll introduce you to my hives and kind of show you a little visual of what's going on. And one of my first steps, they are empty in that little box, and I'll point it out to you a little bit. I don't want to disturb them too much because they don't love that in the fall. But I got to give them some protein patties. So it's a tiny little colony. I'll just give them a little section at a time, and we'll talk about that. So come with me. We'll go check them out. Okay, so here we are. This is the original hive. They're doing great. They've got this entire super is full. Well, it's not a super, I'm sorry. This entire brood box is full of honey, and they have lots of brood going on down here. So great. We are ready to go through winter for them. So excited. Now, this is the little box that I put the split in. And they've got some worker bees coming in and out of there. I saw the queen about a week ago. So we're just gonna go give them a little bit of a boost, and we'll put this protein patty on the top, and hopefully they'll build out some comb and get a little bit of a store up before, lots of cold sets in. So let me show you what that looks like. So eventually I'll be giving them some sugar water through the top here, but right now I'm just going to give them some protein patty. They'll eat this up, and it'll just kind of help them get beefy before winter comes. And they were pretty docile last time we opened them up, so I'm hoping I don't have to glove up here or suit up, and I can just use my veil. Here they are. So those 2 middle frames is where they spend most of their time. And then the sides here, like this one doesn't have much on it, like not even comb. And these two are totally empty. So they're gonna end up balling up in here to stay warm in the winter. Whoop. They're gonna ball up and stay warm in the winter, but they're gonna run out of food. So I'm gonna have to feed them through this hole here. But in the meantime, we're just gonna give them some protein patty to help them kind of beef up before winter comes. And as they eat on that, we'll just kind of monitor, make sure that they're eating it, and button them up for now. Night-night. And we'll check on them. As the weather changes and gets cold, we'll have to take the protein out because they'll need to poop and they won't leave, and well, they won't poop in their little box because that's unsanitary, and bees are super clean. So they won't be able to come poop outside. So it would just be a whole mess for them, and it can cause dysentery and they'll die out that way. So we'll take real good care of you ladies. And look at, busy as can be, and our other two hives are doing great too. So join me. Let's see if we can get these gals through the winter and even making honey next spring. That would just fill my heart. So I'll keep you updated.